Are you ready to take your map reading to the next level? Well, join me, Patrick Russell, the Bearded Bastard, ex-Special Forces soldier, as I do a deep dive with you on interpreting the colors of a map, the symbols, so that you can learn how to interpret the information on a map like a pro. That way you can self-recover, you can survive, and you can help others in need. If this is your first time jumping on this map reading and basic land nav series, make sure that you check out the other video that I'll leave a link in the description that goes over how to identify terrain features like a boss. It's incredibly important to be able to understand how to read your map, as being able to interpret what is on that map can literally mean the difference between success and failure, whatever that looks like for you. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first color we're going to discuss is black. Black indicates man-made objects, such as buildings, railroads, trails, and secondary roads. Some things to note on this map: the different roadways or avenues of approach. You have this dashed line here, which indicates, and all of this is in your legend, this indicates a trail. Okay. These double dashed, double lines are unimproved surfaces. These black with the ticks, that is a railroad. And of course, these are all buildings. The next color to discuss is brown. Brown shows contour and relief, as discussed in the previous video. How to identify terrain features. These brown lines show the contour of the terrain features as well as their elevation. So again, contour and relief. Blue represents water. Whether it's a lake or it's an ocean or it's a river or stream, blue will always represent water. Now, a couple things to note. If we observe this creek or stream or whatever you want to call it, notice how it's long with two dots, so it's sort of dashed, right? That means that it is an intermittent stream, meaning that it may or it may not have water. So if we were navigating in this area, depending on the weather, maybe it had recently rained, we can reasonably assume that these would be flowing with water, or at least saturated. If it has been dry, maybe they won't. If we also note this symbol right here, would indicate this a wetland or a marshy area. Here is another example of a marshy area coming off of this lake. And here are some more examples of intermittent streams. So if we were going on these unimproved roads, we have this draw here going into this low ground. We have these unimproved roads right here. Depending on the weather, this area here, if we're moving on foot, may or may not be passable. That makes sense. Green represents vegetation. So all of this area here is most likely forest land, covered in dense vegetation. Now, these white areas, the absence of color, indicate sparse or no vegetation. So, as we're navigating, in fact, right up here we have a prairie. We know that prairies are sparse vegetation, mostly just fields. So we come out off of this mountainous area, or this rolling terrain, straight into this prairie. We know that this is an open area that we can freely move across, see to the other side and move across, okay? Same thing through here. These roads that appear to be on the high ground. We have a hilltop here. We have a hilltop here. So this road being on the high ground of this terrain here is sparsely vegetated. And as we go down, especially into these draws and wetland areas, as you can guess, where there's wetlands, it's going to be densely vegetated. That makes sense. Then red represents other man-made objects, but also defines densely populated areas. Other man-made features to include this main thoroughfare, this main highway, how it has red tick marks on it. Okay. And then this interstate over here, this interstate being red. For additional reference on colors and symbols on your map, always refer to your legend. Well, there you have it, folks. Just a quick down and dirty of what the colors on a map, what do they mean? What do they mean? So hopefully you got some value out of this. If you're a military member, or you're just like an outdoor enthusiast, hunter, camper, whoever that needs this information, hopefully this kind of brought some clarity to what you can expect when looking at your map. I know a lot of it may seem common sense, but you don't know what you don't know. And so hopefully I was able to provide you with a little bit that you didn't know before. And if that's the case, then I did my job. If you got any value out of this, I would very much appreciate the subscribe so that we can reach more people just like you who could value from this information. So again, I'm Patrick with Bearded Bastard Outdoors, and I'll catch you on the next video.